These mini chefs have captured the hearts of netizens on Douyin, China's version of TikTok. At Xuhai Kindergarten in Xuzhou, children become chefs, harvesting raw ingredients, chopping vegetables, stir-frying on the wood stove, and enjoying the dishes they've prepared, all from scratch.
Excited to have you amazing Joe at Comfort for Life. A month ago, I shared this video about Chinese kindergarten that got a lot of attraction, and my intention for sharing that video as a trained teacher was to show that there are people out there. There is a country that is going beyond the four walls of the classroom. That's what we are taught to do. As we teach children, we are taught to see education beyond the four walls of the classroom. That means teaching them practical skills that will help them in their daily life. But in most cases, we end up doing this theoretical kind of education because of lack of resources. And I realized that there is a country, China, has put together all the resources to be able to give their children a practical education rather than just the theory that we do. We are going to address one of the, should I say, misconceptions or beliefs that people have, because they strongly believe that there is child labor in China. As a Chinese watching this video, did you go through such an education system? How did it make you feel? Or is your child going through such an education system? What do you feel about your child going through all this? Do you feel like they're being pressured to do a lot for their age? Because I believe that every child, if they are being put in such conditions, can be able to do all these things. Are we not going against nature, and by not teaching our children how to do things at a very young age? I'm just asking. So like the video for recommendation and enjoy the rest of the clip.
Hello guys. The most shockingly information I received from TikTok refugees is that most of you believe that China has child labor. That is most shocking thing for me, because I lived in California 4 years, from 2019 to 2023. I never even heard of it. And no one asked me about that question. But since all my videos are gone after the suspension, so I'm gonna make this video to explain it to you again. China has 1.4 billion population. You can find Chinese all around the world. You can find them in Argentina, in Chile, Brazil, even Iceland, South Africa, and other country, Africa, even in Israel, even in all the Middle East country, anywhere you can find Chinese workers. We have more than enough Chinese adults to doing the job. No need to use child labor. And the children's, they have 9 years education, tuition free in the country. When the kids go to school in elementary school, it's like 8 years old. When they graduate, they will be 17 years old. And the majority of them go to high school and college. Just what a ridiculous lie is that the majority of you believe that China has child labor. I just tell you this, and you can decide it if you want to believe it or not.
Okay, I really didn't expect that my last video would go viral. Actually, it's quite common for children to watch free movies in the city square in China. Parents don't worry about their children's safety. Here are no cars and many children come out alone. In the city square, children can also do a lot of things. For instance, they can make handicrafts by themselves and sell them, or they can buy. There is an ice skating rink where it costs about $5 to skate for 3 hours on real ice. They provide free protective gear and instruction. And these little dolphins can help children who can't skate. Children can also ride bicycles and play on the swings in the square. There are so many such parks and squares in China's cities. I will continue to show you around in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Is this child labor in China? Just kidding, this is a robot. You can even see the sign saying do not touch because you may be shocked by electricity. This is a shop selling traditional Chinese medicines. It's amazing to see them embracing technology.
You've heard it from a Chinese here, so I have nothing to add on that. But a postpartum journey of a mother in China really got me concerned. If at all we are concerned about child labor, how are we treating our pregnant mothers? How are we treating our mothers after they have given birth? In our countries, if at all we are concerned about child labor, how are we treating those women who give us children? So in trying to understand that, I also came across these videos about postpartum care that mothers go through in China. I was a victim of postpartum depression, and I understand the meaning of this. That's why I was like, okay, if at all you are to think about child labor, how do you treat pregnant women in your country? Yeah, how do you treat them? What care do you give them after they have given birth, if at all you care about those children?
Can anyone name anything more depressing than the conversation with HR when you are having a baby in America? Like, the last thing I want to talk about when I'm pregnant is how little of time I get off and going back to work. I work for a company that is run by women, which I am so proud of. Our CEO is a woman, our COO is a woman, our CFO is a woman, and almost every employee in this business is a woman. So you would think that we would have a decent maternity package, but we don't. We get 6 weeks. 6 weeks of FMLA, so short-term disability, and then anything after that is either unpaid or unused PTO. I am not at all blaming the company I work for, because this is very standard across the board in the United States, but it's just, I dealt with this with my first, and we're dealing with it again with the second. It just blows my mind that women are expected to go back to work after 6 weeks. 6 weeks after having their child. But that's America, that's the world we live in, and I'm just gonna have to get over it, and it'll be fine.
All right, countries, I want to know what kind of maternity leave you offer. So France, you first. Bah, ça dépend un peu, mais en gros, c'est entre 16 et 26 semaines. Very good. Spain, you're next. Sí, en España tenemos 16 semanas. Okay, nice. And Belgium? Ouais, chez nous, c'est 15 semaines. Very good. Brazil, you're up next. Sim, no Brasil temos 120 dias de licença maternidade. Very good, Brazil. Mexico? Sí, tenemos 12 semanas. That's great. And the United States? What? The same question I asked everyone else. Do you provide maternity leave? Oh, yeah, duh, obviously. 12 weeks? Wonderful. So every worker gets 12 weeks. Oh, everyone? No. The law that we have, it applies to like 54% of workers. 54%? That's barely more than half. And it's paid? Oh, wait, you guys were talking about paid maternity leave? No, of course it's not paid. So your maternity leave is 12 unpaid weeks that only really applies to half of the country? Well, when you say it with that attitude, it sounds pretty bad, but it's not like everyone's gonna be a parent. Sure, not everyone becomes a parent, but literally everyone is born. Okay, but like, do you even put ice in your drinks?
Hello guys, it has been 2 weeks since I gave birth to my son, and right now I'm not at home at my confinement center in China. For those people who don't know, postpartum confinement is a Chinese tradition. People believe that during giving birth, the pain you suffer both physically and emotionally will hurt your qi, your energy, and it will take 30 to 40 days for a woman to fully recover. So during this period, you'll be locked in a room. You must rest as much as you can. Cannot blow any wings, eat healthy, basically just rest. In the past time, people normally do confinement at home, but nowadays, confinement center become a business in China. Super popular. They'll give you so many different kinds of services to both mommy and the baby. Basically, it's like you stay for 1 month. So right now, I'm at one of the confinement centers. Let me give you a tour. So this is actually a hotel, and they rent a few levels to be their confinement center. And this is my room. Ta-da! Here is a mini bar without any alcohol. And here is a fridge. And right here is the kitchen. You can wash your clothes here, wash all the baby stuff here, and you can heat your food here as well. And I also have a giant living room with my baby. and the view outside the window is amazing. It's literally a mountain outside. Nanny is there eating a lunch, and this is my bedroom. Sorry, a bit messy, please ignore. And I can sleep by the mountain, guys. The bed is like China king size, super big. And this is toilet, very cozy, super spacious. Every day my husband can just pretend to be a nice father, play with the kids, comfort him. And my parents will come and visit me every single day just to see the baby boy, not me. So if you have any questions or anything you want to know about confinement center in China, leave your comments and let me know.
Things my Chinese mother-in-law wanted me to do postpartum. The main thing was ginger, ginger, and more ginger. So the first day I got back from the hospital, she made me ginger fried rice, and then she made me this ginger egg soup. Essentially, she just wanted me to consume as much ginger as possible because it's really good for healing. The other thing she made me do was scrub down my body with ginger peels. So basically I would take a shower or a bath, take all those ginger peels, boil it, let it cool down, and then wash myself with that ginger water and scrub down my body with those ginger peels. And this is supposed to kind of scrub away all the toxins, basically wash away all those bad vibes. After the first week of postpartum, she made me drink this super concentrated ginger soup. And that soup takes a long time to make. She started making it before I even gave birth. Additionally, it's made with ginger, vinegar, egg, and pork bone broth. But I don't eat pork, so she kept that out. And this is not your typical soup that you just boil once and it's ready to eat. You have to boil it over and over again throughout 3 months, I think. I have to ask her what the process was, but I think it's once a week. You keep boiling it, letting it cool, and it becomes this really strong, concentrated wheat syrup like soup. And honestly, besides all the ginger, the other recurring theme was soup, soup, and more soup. Papaya soup, fish soup, chicken soup, you name it. She made lots of soup. A lot of people ask me if I had to do the 1 month confinement. She wasn't really big on that, but she was really big on me recovering. Anytime, I wanted to rest, she would come over, do the dishes, she would vacuum, she would take care of the baby. She wouldn't let me do any work. Basically just spend the time to rest and recover.
I am 20 days postpartum, and here's everything that I ate in a day. Confinement edition. And boy, do we have a jam-packed menu. But before we begin, let's give a standing ovation to the woman, the myth, the legend, my mom. And don't worry, I hear you in the comments. I know you want recipes, but you try waking up before my mom, and it is nearly an impossible task. But be patient. I promise I am working on it. So today, my mom was making breakfast bright and early and prepping some other things for throughout the day. So every morning, my mom starts me off with red date tea. Red date tea is not only nourishing, but is supposed to aid in wound healing and digestion. I have gotten so many questions about what kind of tea this is, so here's an up close of the packaging and the ingredients, and can most likely be found at your local Asian store. And like I said, since my mom had a jam-packed menu today, she started me off with some soup. This one had beef, pumpkin, cabbage, and enoki mushrooms, 2 eggs, and a ton of fruit. Side note, a lot of you have been asking and commenting about my skin, and all I can say is that I'm crediting it all to my mom and the power of her food. Because as a first-time mom, I barely had time to shower and wash my face, so there have been no skincare products applied. But my diet has been healthier and more nutritious than it's ever been. After breakfast, I downed a giant glass of red bean soy milk, fed Lily, and then it was time for our first lunch. Truth be told, my mom is really worried about my milk supply. So instead of my usual light first lunch, she added a heavier first lunch, which included one of my childhood favorites. I told you, today's menu is absolutely stacked. She made her famous pig's feet soup, some steamed broccoli, a pan-seared white fish, and pork belly and potatoes in a garlic ginger sauce, which was honestly perfect because immediately after this, Lily wanted another round of booby time. And I think my mom strategically feeds me the black sesame seeds during this time because she knows I can't move and she knows that I don't really like them. After I washed that down with some cashews, my friend texted me and told me she left me a surprise on my front door. And when I opened the door, I found the most delicious cookies my friend dropped off to celebrate us hitting 100K on TikTok. They say having a baby takes a village, and our village is pretty freaking awesome. And although cookies are not confinement approved, of course my mom let me have one. But since eating is now my full-time job besides taking care of my baby, it was already time for my second lunch. So we had salmon, stir-fried bok choy, a cabbage and beef soup, homemade shrimp balls, and purple grain rice. Because like I said, my mom is making it her personal mission to ensure that Lily has enough booby milk. And since increasing your milk supply involves drinking a lot of liquids, my mom brewed up another homemade soy milk for me. I honestly, I don't know how she does this every day. She never complains. She's always smiling. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for my mom. Like four gourmet meals in a day, which leads us to the grand finale. For dinner, I had some beef, goji berry, and red date soup, sauteed tofu, and some leftovers from earlier because Sam and I just can't keep up with all of the food that she's making. I also feel so incredibly lucky that I'm able to enjoy a meal with my husband still. And this is all because my mom insists on holding Lily while we eat so we can eat together. And she's going to live to be 1,000,000 years old because I cannot do life without her. So stay tuned for more confinement meals made by the most amazing person on the face of the planet, my mom.
This is what we are having a hard time understanding. China is leading in so many things. The quality of living in China is way beyond so many countries that we can think of, especially in the US that keeps comparing itself to China and keeps depicting that bad image of China, you know. So we have to accept that. We have to take notes. These are people who are living a quality life, and as you look at them living, you feel like there's still hope in this life, even though things aren't happening the way they should go. But when we look at the Chinese lifestyle, we still find hope in life, you know. Sometimes when I see the conditions of living in some parts of the world and where I come from as well, I feel like the world is coming to an end. But when I watch Chinese videos, I feel like, yeah, so, okay, so, yeah, we are still here, but we just have to learn and improve our lives. And most of the time, we don't want to learn. We don't want to learn. We want to put people down when they're doing things right, as to prove a point, to prove that we are doing right, while we need to learn. That's the bottom line. We just need to learn. Because the quality of life, at this point, I don't care if they have money in their bank account. I just care about how they live, and they have livelihood. You can see livelihood in all that they do. They are living. They are not surviving. They are living. So that was it about this video. Hope it was beneficial to you as it was for me. Like the video for recommendations, subscribe. You can as well support the channel through the thank button down there, and I will appreciate. Thank you for being here.